It's time for the Dane by Local podcast, Let's Get Local. Each month, we'll feature DBL members and hear their stories. So let's jump into our next episode. Welcome to another edition of Let's Get Local, here for Dane by Local. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Lori Carlson, someone I know pretty well, but happy to sit down and get to know even a little bit better today. Hi, Lori. How you doing?
Really good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, first off, Lori, we are in the Green Box space. So tell us a little bit about your business, Madison Green Box.
Well, we started up 8 years ago, and just a little background on why we started. My husband's been managing apartment communities for many years, and he saw the dumpsters overflowing with cardboard very often. And for him, it was an eyesore for the properties. It was a lot for the staff to manage that waste. And so he started researching online, and he found this type of business model. And we just decided it was so simple that rather than franchising, we would just do our own thing. And so that's really served us well. It's nice to be able to call the shots.
So when you looked at that opportunity to create your own business and what that business would be sometimes is kind of a different idea for a lot of people. Some people have a passion for a certain type of business or certain type of product. Was that what led you to this particular business? I mean, was it just looking around those overflowing dumpsters? Was there even more of an emphasis for you and your husband that you wanted to do something green to impact the environment that way?
Well, for him, it was keeping the properties nice and tidy. He just saw that there was a need for it, and seeing how much people spend on cardboard, maybe only using it once or twice before throwing it away. For me, it was really the green part. That's what I loved most about it, just being able to provide a service that not only is convenient, but it's good for the environment.
What other kind of things, when you look at your business and the focus of it, what kind of things would you say when you got into it surprised you? Or were there any kind of maybe unintended benefits that you hadn't really realized?
Well, I guess just how much people really love the convenience of it, because the green part isn't important to everyone. Not all of our customers use us because of that. So it was nice that people are using us for a variety of reasons. Most of them really just love the convenience of us delivering the product ready to use. They don't have to hassle running around looking for cardboard boxes, building them, taping them, breaking them down. And then they just love most of them like having the deadline. Okay, I need to be unpacked by Saturday because Lori's going to come pick up the boxes, and they like that incentive to just be unpacked and get settled quicker.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. If any of you have gone through a move before, and a lot of us have, sometimes a series of boxes, or the boxes can just linger and hang out for months before you actually go through them. So with your service, you're putting a little incentive and added pressure on people to, get through those boxes, get your stuff unpacked, and that way you can move on with your new house that you just moved into, or new building that you just moved into.
Yes, just being done with that process. And I've had several customers say, well, Lori, you're here because we still have tons of packed cardboard boxes in our basement from our move 5 years ago. So it's not always weeks or months, sometimes years, and then they kind of figure out what's important, what they can live without.
That's true. That's a good exercise. If they're boxes that you hadn't unpacked from your move several years ago, you probably don't need that stuff, right? You can probably live without it.
I think so.
So I want to backtrack a little bit here and talk a little bit about you and your husband as small business owners. And you mentioned, not franchising, not picking up, something that was already there, but you want to make your own company. And when you did that, you get to make your own, basically, rules and run the company the way you wanted to. How freeing, how important do you think that was for you and your husband to be able to run a business like that?
It was everything. In my previous profession, I had a lot of complaints about how things were ran and organized. And my dad always said, you should just have your own business because then you can do exactly what you want with it. And that served us well. We don't have to pay money into a franchise, and we can really just run it exactly how we see fit.
Now, that also meant that you had freedom in your name, in your appearance and logos and all of that. What was that process like? Because I think a lot of small business owners, let's say you want to start a new business, and it's going to be a small independent business, and but that means two things, right? You have the opportunity to create all that stuff, but you also have the responsibility to come up with what's our name going to be and the logo going to look like and how are we going to present ourselves to the public. What was that process like for you guys?
Right. Well, this was really Mike's idea to start up the business. And so he kind of took the lead on trying to figure out, what are we going to call it? And looking up to see if that name was available. And interesting enough, one thing we thought was Bella Boxes because our dog's name is Bella. She's our only child. And good thing we didn't because since I've learned that Bella Domicile, they have crates for their clients to use, and they're called Bella Boxes.
Oh, okay.
So there might have been a little confusion there. But yeah, just kind of toying with the different ideas, and I think Madison Green Box is just so perfect because our boxes are green and the product and service is green.
When you started that small business like we talked about, at what point did you find Dane Buy Local? Because obviously you've been very involved with the organization, serving on committees, giving more of your time, becoming really entrenched in it. But at what point as a small business owner did you and your husband find DBL?
Well, I had known about Dane Buy Local for several years, just seeing it out in the community, logos and whatnot on store windows. And we actually formed our company April 2011, and that's when I joined Dane Buy Local because I just felt like that was going to be key to our success, but we actually didn't even start operations until July. So I was kind of up and running with Dane Buy Local even before starting to serve the community.
What kind of benefits have you found being involved in that group?
Well, I like it because I benefit from going to events. You'll find me at pretty much every breakfast, the lunch and learns, not always consistent going to the socials, but that's my way of really getting to know the people that I want to do business with and vice versa. It's kind of nice just to have a presence and then they can get to know you and be comfortable for when a need might arise. I like helping out with organizing events. It's nice to be part of the group because it really raises awareness of supporting local. So I think that's the biggest thing, just being part of that, because now at this point, most people are, I find, fairly familiar with that local concept.
Do you find that connection helps you with customers? Do you think it leads to more customers using Madison Green Box versus some other service?
Yes, most definitely. And I think I maybe heard it more often early on when we started, but they're like, yeah, we specifically chose you because you're local. And, I'm part of the process from, confirming the orders, delivering the boxes, picking up the boxes, confirmation after. And not that you couldn't get that from like a franchise or a bigger company, but I find that people kind of relate that continuity with local. So I found that just me being there every step of the process, they appreciate that.
Well, I think you see that in most small businesses is just the ownership, and you get a different level of customer service when you have the people that created this organization or this company behind it and that you're dealing with. So I think, and with small teams, a lot of people that have, a handful of employees. To me, that's often the difference I often find between dealing with, a large branch of a large organization versus a local small business that's here. There's just kind of that different level that you get customer service wise, communication wise. And as a customer, that I think really, really matters and enhances the experience.
Yeah, most definitely. And, I think it goes also to show that, if I'm the only one doing the business, I know what I can and cannot do, and therefore I can be pretty accommodating for most requests. So I don't have to be like, oh, well, let me check with the driver, to see if we can do that. I know what my schedule is, so it's nice to be able to accommodate.
All right, I'm going to throw a scenario at you then. We need to move. I need to move from one house to another. This is all hypothetical here, maybe not. But how does this process work? If I was someone looking for an easier way to move, where do I start with Madison Greenbox?
Well, where you'd want to start is on our website, madisongreenbox.com. Just go on there and kind of browse around to get a better feel for what the product is that we offer, the service that we offer. You'll find a pricing page. You'll find the product page, testimonials, why we're doing what we do. And on there, you can actually place an order, and it will estimate for you how many boxes you may need. For instance, if you have like a 2-bedroom house, we estimate that you might be able to get away with 35 boxes. But if people call me and want to kind of talk it through if they're not sure about the amount of boxes, I usually caution them that most people tend to underestimate. So if you're uncertain, you might want to bump it up a little bit, and we can do any 5-box increment. So that's pretty specific, pretty accommodating.
And what about the size boxes? So you have boxes for hanging items that people want to transport on hangers, and you've got other boxes that are standard size. Like what are kind of the various sizes you guys offer?
Well, our standard green box, the ones that nest in each other and stack up on each other, those are 27 by 17 by 12. So I usually say, kind of a medium to large size. And that comes with a custom 4-wheel dolly. If they want more, they can order more boxes or dollies. And then we have our wardrobe boxes as well. And hand trucks, if they want to move some heavier items, if they're do-it-yourself without professional movers. And recycled packing paper. That's very popular. And zip ties, if they want a little extra security, like if they've hired movers and they want to make sure no one's peeking in the boxes, they can use those zip ties. But I always say, it's not needed to keep the box shut.
So this leads me to another interesting question. What is the maximum number of stacked boxes that you would recommend transporting on a dolly that you provide?
Well, 4 probably. Okay. And I always caution, make sure you're watching out for little ruts and whatnot, and make sure you have a good handle on the boxes so you don't lose them. But 4 is very manageable.
But you want to be able to see over them at least, right?
Well, that's a good point too. I just don't want them so tall that they topple over. But yeah, to
Right.
be able to see over them, that would be key, Jason. Thank you.
See where you're going. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to have to remember that next time someone asks, well, how tall are you?
It could be a factor
Yeah.
in how you want to be able to proceed with that. When I look at this business model, and you just talked about so many different things that you were kind of added things like the recycled paper and some of the other things that that are included in the services you provide. Were those things that came up after you had already started the business, or was those things that were already things you had thought of? Or have you had some surprise items where, hey, we could do this too, and that makes it better for our customers?
Yeah, interesting. I haven't been asked that before, but yet we started with everything except the hand trucks. We got enough requests for hand trucks that we added that on.
Okay, well then you were well prepared. I'm going to tell you that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get into a business and you have a primary product, like in this case, it's the boxes, and maybe sometimes those finer details of all the other things that go along with that you could then make part of your service aren't always thought of, and I think a lot of business owners end up kind of stumbling into that. But it sounds like you were well thought out and well prepared.
Well, yes, because we researched the business for like 2 years before we actually started
Okay.
out. So we had plenty of time to look at how other businesses were running and what products they had to offer. So that was easy. We just kind of followed their lead. What was I going to say?
I probably talked too long and then made you forget.
Oh,
I
that's
apologize.
okay.
That happens sometimes. I apologize to you as well. Okay, well, I love your business. I love that you're involved in Dane by Local. Those two things are clear. I wanted to learn a little bit more about you, though. So I know you mentioned Bella, and most times we talk, you mentioned Bella. So tell us about some of the other things in your life that really help make you you.
Well, number one is Bella. I always say if someone hasn't met Bella, they don't really know me. I don't know. You might find that strange, but she's just such a big part of my life. We bought a camper and a boat last year, so we got a lot of use out of the camper. Not so much the boat yet because of the flooding, but we plan to use that a lot more this year. Our first camping trip this year, we're going to go up to Duluth, where we also have some friends, so it's kind of a twofer.
Okay.
And love kayaking with Bella, of course.
So Duluth, I'm sure they still have plenty of snow at this point.
I
right?
don't think
No?
so. My friends were just here this last weekend, and I know that they've gotten a lot, but I don't know if it's lingering.
That's
I'm
interesting.
not sure. You think I would know, but I'm not sure.
Well, my experience, I lived up there in that area one year, and I remember late May going to the lakeshore on the beach, and there just being mounds and mounds of snow still there in that area. So usually it hangs around for a while, but maybe they got lucky this year. I'm not sure.
Maybe. We went for their wedding on May 19th. What was it now? 11, 12 years ago, and it was snowing on May 19th.
It's quite a bit further north than where we are currently.
Yeah.
Different climate up there. Okay, Lori. So now we have to get to this part. All right, I'm gonna throw. This is the newer feature of the podcast, which is the speed round, and I'm gonna give you some quick questions, and I just want your gut instinct answers. With the whole idea of this being thinking about local businesses, organizations, and features of this area.
All right,
All right.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. Give you enough time to think about it. All right. Give me and this doesn't mean this is your favorite, but something is obviously something you think positively about. I don't want to play favorites here. Just, hey, it's something you like based on these categories. Give me a local restaurant.
Imperial Garden.
All right. How about a local festival that you enjoy?
The Sun Prairie Corn Fest.
What about a view or sight
Any angle of the Capitol.
How about your favorite? Well, okay. I usually do favorites in this one. I'm not going to. All right. How about a coffee establishment or tea establishment, whether you're a coffee or tea person?
Rosie's on Monona Drive.
And how about your favorite local nonprofit?
My favorite, well, Dame by Local.
Oh, what a good answer. How about a street name?
Monroe Street.
And finally, what is, and this one I will ask your favorite, what is your favorite eating utensil?
Yes, a fork.
A fork, okay. Good, you passed.
Yay!
You passed. Okay, well, before we wrap up here, I just wanted to say a couple things about your involvement in Dame by Local, because again, okay, we talked about your business and we talked about you, how you've seen benefits from being involved in the organization, but you do a lot. So tell us quick about how involved you are, like the committees, the extra time you're putting into things that are sometimes often behind the scenes.
Well, I was asked more than once to be on the educational committee by my friend Jason.
Arm twisting there, but
yeah.
it worked.
So I joined that educational committee a little over a year ago, and as you know, we help decide presenters that are going to come in and speak at the breakfasts and the lunch and learns. Primarily, that's our agenda. Mm-hmm. And then also, I'm part of the board. Been a part of the board for a little over a year, and so that's kind of nice to see behind the scenes and have a part in what's happening with Dame by Local.
So when you first connected with the organization, became a member, did you envision getting involved to that extent, being on committees, even being asked to be a board member? Was that ever something you thought about?
No, that wasn't on my mind at that time, although pretty early on, maybe just a few months into my membership, I was at that time part of the events and fundraising committee. That was with Judy Purcell from A Grace Thrift Store. So I did help out with that for a while, but then I kind of drew back from that, and so it's nice now to be a little more involved.
Well, we're glad to have you involved. You're a great addition to the team in both those areas, so that's been a really fun thing. So I just wanted to say thank you, Lori, for joining us, for creating this great local business, being on the episode today to tell people about it. And is there anything else that we should know about Madison Green Box before we go? Say the future of it, where you see this business going, and then also I'll let you answer that first, and then I want to get back to one other quick thing. So where do you see kind of the next 5 years for Madison Green Box?
Well, ideally, I would like it to be more known in the community. At this point, we're mostly repeat and referral business, but it would be nice to be able to just stop someone on the street and say, do you know what Madison Green Box is? Well, yeah. Even if they haven't used us, I'd like it to become more of a norm to use this type of service that is so good for the environment. And if not our service, there's other creative ways that people can be sustainable when it comes to moving. And I see more and more business moves in our future. We started off mostly with residential moving, but now more and more moves are to help businesses, and also a lot of remodeling projects, whether it be in your home or your business.
And what about this season coming up? Because now we are, I think, getting to spring. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's
think
here.
So, yes.
But with all of the activity that comes with that, are you anticipating a uptick as well in people's need for your services.
Yeah, most definitely. Consistently, May through August are our busiest. This year, though, the last few months have even been phenomenal for us. It might be the first year we have to add inventory with the green boxes because we've been busy, well, ever since the flooding last August.
Well, I appreciate the service you provide. I know so many people do, and I think you continue on the path you are. You guys will be there in this community, continuing to do good work and present people with a very valuable resource. And you're keeping stuff out of our landfills, which we love. So,
yep, that's what we're all about. Yes.
Thanks so much for your time today, Lori. Thanks for everything you do in the community and for Dane by Local. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you for checking out Dane by Local's new podcast, Let's Get Local, available on YouTube, Facebook, and DBL's website. Join us next month for more local talk.